Good afternoon. I'm Vashon Brown with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. This morning, the police were called to the scene of another death arising from a domestic dispute 24 hours after a similar killing. This time, the killing was in St. Elizabeth. TVJ's Kirk Wright has more.
Lord God, deal with it. Father Jesus, deal with it. Help me.
The latest incident took place in Brinkley, South St. Elizabeth, less than 24 hours after the gruesome murder of a nurse in Portmore, St. Catherine on Sunday. It's alleged that 26-year-old Navia Sinclair was killed by her boyfriend about 10:45 on Sunday night at her parents' home. According to information received by TVJ News, the killer gained access to Navia after he broke into the house through a window. He then reportedly used a knife from the kitchen to stab her multiple times. Neville Sinclair, father of the deceased, who was at home at the time of the incident, explained what happened.
In my sleep, me and my wife jump up and say, "What?" And she rush out. And when she rush out, me rush out after her. When me look, me see my daughter upon the concrete and in her blood.
He says he and his wife spotted the killer making his escape from the scene in a waiting car. But further suspicion arose following a call half an hour after the incident in which the suspect queried what had happened to his daughter. Mr. Sinclair told our news team that his daughter and her boyfriend were together for 5 years, but that the relationship was not on solid footing.
Because my daughter packed up last week, upon the weekend last week, last week Saturday, and take the same car and come home. And by him reach home, and him in the yard.
One resident says the death in the community is a surprise as the community is not known for acts of violence.
We never used to this type of thing happen around the community like that, you know. So it is really shocking and it's very hurting too. So we wish not more like this not really take place in the community, and we have to keep our eyes up and look out for one another.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
And with the recent spate of domestic violence cases across the country, at least one psychologist is calling for a greater level of public education. Here is TVJ's O'Shane Masters with that angle.
Murders after murders. But what is more troubling? Men killing their partners. It's a situation which has left many across the society questioning the sudden rise in these murders. On Sunday morning, residents in Portmore gathered at the scene where a soldier shot and chopped his common-law wife, then killed himself.
Persons who have greater access to weapons are the ones most likely to use weapons. So many domestic disputes and violence tends to somebody who's a police, a soldier, a security guard, a firearm holder are likely to use these things when there's a situation that triggers disappointment, upset, frustration.
It's why psychologist Dr. Lakim Samaj says there needs to be some consistent levels of psychological assessment for these individuals.
Security guards, policemen, soldiers are high on the list of persons who could be caught up in domestic abuse situations. Their work is one in which they have to deal with a lot of problems, and if they aren't diffusing it, if they don't have someone they can talk to and they can put the problem and get it solved at a personal level, then their own problem now becomes even more pressing for them.
For Dr. Samaj, more needs to be done to cauterize the level of domestic violence island-wide. Hence, he's calling on the government and other organizations to increase public education programs.
We need to use whatever means necessary, skits, television shows, advertising, something to dramatize that, listen, real men don't hit women. We must make it a priority. When somebody makes a report to a police station that their life has been threatened, that their partner is abusive, that it be dealt with. Because oftentimes persons know, well, you had situations where persons, because they know the police officer, and listen, the issue is thrown out and nobody even deals with it.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
On to other news now. Controversy is brewing in the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation over work that was allocated in the Christmas period for cleanup and beautification activities. The issue has taken on added significance given that the cleanup was part of a dengue prevention drive. TVJ's Dashan Hendricks reports.
Like the rest of Jamaica, St. Thomas is on high alert to prevent any further spread of dengue cases, and at a recent meeting of the Municipal Corporation, the issue was high on the agenda. Nigel Gooden, the public cleansing manager, was delivering his report. He was addressing the issue of garbage collection when he was stopped in his tracks.
Collections over the period, while still a challenge, have steadily shown signs of improvement. Sorry?
That's a lie. It's gotten worse. And I will not sit here and allow any false report to be given in this country, especially if it's happening in this time of the dengue.
In addition to the dispute over garbage collection, there's also a declaration that councillors were sidelined during the decision-making process. There are no questions as to who would have made such decisions.
But no councillor was informed or consulted concerning the cleanup in the specified area with the 10 divisions. However, solid waste went in under instructions from I'm not sure who, and today we need answers. Read those millions that was dispensed in Christmas to do the dengue cleanup that none of us as councillors seems to have any information or knowledge about.
There was no clear answer as to who had made decisions regarding the information flow and the involvement of councillors. Only a declaration about the need for the cleanup, especially in areas at risk for a dengue outbreak. Still, though, more questions.
Come on, man, you're a big man now. No, Minister of Health, meaning Kingston or the St. Thomas Health Department.
I couldn't speak to that because...
Come on, boss, man, you're the boss. You're the boss. Who gave the instruction for the areas to be clean? Minister of Health in Kingston or the St. Thomas Health Department? Because these millions did not benefit St. Thomas. So don't worry around me today, boss man. Respond to the question asked. Was it Minister of Health in Kingston directive or the Health Department in St. Thomas?
What I can tell you is that we got our directives from the Ministry of Health. So they would probably be better able to respond to how they came up with this.
There's no end in sight to the impasse on questions such as where did the money go, even as the authorities insist the cash was well spent. Dashan Hendricks, TVJ News.
And it's now time for a break, but stay with us. More stories right after these messages. Welcome back. Continuing the news now. Residents of Friendship Pen in St. Thomas are calling for the government to resolve an issue that could in return help save lives. They claim the lack of street signs is a serious problem in the community, as TVJ's Kirk Wright now reports.
An all too familiar cry from residents of Friendship Pen in St. Thomas. Monday morning, residents demonstrated over the lack of street signs in the community. The protest was sparked by the latest incident which claimed the life of 26-year-old Ashanti Lindo. The residents say Ashanti was crossing the road on Friday when a car overtaking a truck hit her. She was rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital and then transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital, where she succumbed to her injuries on Saturday. Last year, 13-year-old Rajon Taylor, a student of St. Thomas Technical High School, was mowed down at the same place.
We have a lot of children coming out from Friendship out here to take taxi in the morning. Most time we have to draw the children from the banking car and carry them back down in the lane. Because the way the taxi them a speed and a drive. By driving now, Shanty get lit down out here and dead again. We need and the man says she walk out on the road, and that is not true.
The residents are appealing to the government for help before another life is lost.
I am begging the government to step in, intervene, please. Give us some signs. Send police sometimes during the morning. We need help. We need assistance. We need our children to have a better future.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The development of a tuition-free school is now underway in St. Catherine. Minister without portfolio with responsibility for education, Carl Samuda, toured the project site on Friday. He says the project is a huge asset for human development in Jamaica. TVJ's Prince Moore reports.
The government, in partnership with Crystal House International from Indianapolis in the United States, has embarked on an initiative to provide at-risk youth with education. The aim, to break the cycle of poverty. The first phase, which consists of a kindergarten to grade 6, is expected to be completed in June ahead of the next school year. Senior Vice President of Crystal House International, Joseph Schneider, says the curriculum will be based on national requirements with additional classes to aid in personal development.
In all of our schools, we focus curriculum on the local national requirements and then supplement those requirements with additional focus on areas outside of that curriculum, including character development, leadership development, and a lot in the way of career planning and career development.
Retired Custos of Manchester, Sally Portius, who is responsible for the project Coming to Jamaica, says the initiative is being funded entirely by Crystal House. The institution will be operating through funds raised in Indianapolis to pay the staff and allow students to learn free of cost.
We are targeting families and children who have a great difficulty in being able to pay for tuition, books, uniforms, food, transportation. That is a group that we are targeting.
In addition to the curriculum, each student will be provided with breakfast, lunch, and afternoon snacks, as well as transportation. Minister Carl Samuda says this undertaking will be beneficial to the growth of the economy.
As we speak, as you've heard all over, the question of developing the country to a stage where we'll grow our economy. You can't grow your economy unless those who make it work are well educated. And so this is the beginning of an extraordinary experience.
Phase 2, which involves the erection of a secondary school, grades 7 to 13, is slated to start in 5 years. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
Councillor for the Claremont division in St. Anne, Lambert Ware, is calling for the establishment of a fire station in his division. At a recent meeting of the St. Anne Municipal Corporation, he says the developments in the area, among other reasons, highlight this need.
That a fire truck have to travel from St. Anne's Bay to get to a fire in Claremont and its environs. It takes too long, and it's wear and tear on the unit, and it can cause accident because of the speed that it'll take to come to Claremont.
He says he's already identified possible lands for the station's construction. Councillor Ware adds that he's written to the Minister of Local Government and he's now urging the St. Anne Fire Department to make the recommendation for it to happen.
Other parishes that do have more than one fire station, the fire department of that parish make requests and the minister honoring it. And I cannot understand why the fire department in St. Anne's Bay cannot make a request, and we have outlined the stats in our meetings. Why can't they make a request to the minister for a fire station to be placed in Claremont, which is almost in the middle of the communities?
Time now for sports. Over 2 years after his last appearance for the West Indies, Dwayne Bravo has been recalled to the Windies squad for the 2020 leg of their series against Ireland, which starts on Wednesday.
Trinidadian Dwayne Bravo has 66 appearances for the West Indies in T20 cricket with an impressive record of 52 wickets and 1,142 runs. However, he has not featured for the two-time World T20 champion since October 2016. The 36-year-old also called time on his international career in 2019, only to reverse his retirement after the appointment of current head coach Phil Simmons. Also earning a return to the squad is 26-year-old Jamaican Rothman Powell, who has played 34 ODIs and 23 T20 internationals since his debut November 2016. In the shortest format of the game, Powell has 2 half-centuries with a top score of 54 against India in Fort Lauderdale last August. Powell, who captained the West Indies ODI team in 3 matches against Bangladesh in 2018, has been recovering from an abdominal injury and was one of the standout batsmen for the Jamaica Scorpions in the recently concluded Regional Super 50 tournament. Another Jamaican, all-rounder Fabian Allen, was considered for selection but is unavailable as he continues his rehabilitation from an injury on the tour of India last year. All-rounder Kimo Paul was originally set to participate in the series but has been ruled out due to injury. Jason Holder, the leading all-rounder in Test cricket, is being rested for the series due to work overload management, according to a Cricket West Indies release. The full squad reads Karen Pollard, captain, Dwayne Bravo, Sheldon Cottrell, Shimron Hetmar, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Kari Pierre, Nicholas Perran, Rothman Powell, Sherfin Rutherford, Linda Simmons, Hayden Walsh Jr., and Kesrick Williams. The 14th player in the squad will be named on Monday. Renata Brown for TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon and a wonderful week.